Welcome, friends. I'm Black Flag Civilian, and this is your starter guide for making your community a better place with nothing more than a few people you trust. It's easy to look around at the state of the world and feel powerless in the face of massive structural forces beyond your control. That's a reasonable reaction. I get it. I've been there myself. But one of the hidden, essential truths of the world is that when you team up with your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, your church, whoever you've got, you do have power. You might not change the entire world yourselves, but you absolutely, unequivocally can make your community a better place. We can't afford to sit back and wait for someone else to step in. We can't wait on government or corporations or even the police. They've already shown us where their priorities lie. We will get through these times together, united by a common goal of fostering real liberty, real dignity for all people. And I mean all people, because when we fight each other over crumbs, the billionaires and the warmongers laugh all the way to the bank. This video is a little different from what I've released so far. It isn't about gear, it's about people. It's about what to do when the systems of care that once held our communities together begin to crumble. It's about looking at the rubble and responding with calm, competence, solidarity, and aid. Let's get specific. Today, I'm going to give you a breakdown on how to organize small scale around a tangible issue or need in your own community. This is not a deep dive into political theory. It's not even about how to organize a big group of people. I'm talking 3 to 6 people, one shared concern, one action at a time. After I lay out a basic blueprint, I'll describe some common pitfalls that even the best activists and community organizers can fall prey to, and give you some advice for how to avoid those problems in your own work. If you're thinking, who the hell am I to do any of this? Why me? Listen here, you don't need experience, and you definitely don't need permission. Community ties can help, but even lacking that, you can still start small and develop trust over time. You can do this. Join me outside and I'll tell you how. All right, let's light this fire. Before you start anything, you have to have a why. What's actually wrong where you live? What is missing? What are people struggling with? That's your starting point. It might be obvious, like unhoused neighbors sleeping in tents in the middle of winter, a neglected park in need of a cleanup, or seeing your neighbor's black bag by masked men, tossed into unmarked vans and driven off to undisclosed locations. Maybe it's something you personally experienced, like a power outage or natural disaster that left the roads impassable last time around. It doesn't have to be a massive nationwide issue necessarily. It just has to matter to you and some portion of your community. And just as important, it has to be something you're actually willing to put time and energy into fixing. The best issues or needs to start with are local, concrete, and attainable. You don't need to fix everything in one fell swoop. In fact, that's a good way to set yourself up for failure. But if you start small, if you can change things by even 0.1%, and I mean that in all seriousness, if you can change things by even 0.1%, then it's worth it. All right, once you're decided on the issue, your need, your why, it's time to figure out who you want to work with. The big question, where do I find my people? Well, my answer starts with a question of my own. What communities are you already a part of, even if you don't usually think of them that way? Maybe it's your family, your coworkers, a club, a church, a Discord server, a tight friend group. For many of you, this is where you'll find the 2 to 5 people that you're going to start organizing with. In my opinion, if you're starting small, it's a good idea to start with people you trust, people who you can rely on. Long story short, if you already have roots and you already have a wide social system, start there. And listen, I get that this isn't for everybody. I know that not everyone has this level of connection in their lives. Some of you are chronically ill. Some of you live in the middle of nowhere. For some of you, the pandemic wrecked your social life and it never got back to where it used to be. Maybe you're just not sure who you can trust anymore. If that's you, I want to be clear. You can still be of value to others. I want you to do a little research. Hop on social media and find people already doing good work in your region. Literally go to search engines and social media and search your town's name, mutual aid. Your region's name, immigrant rights. Your state's name, whatever issue you care about. Is someone already running a food bank, cultivating a community garden, serving your homeless neighbors? Everywhere in the world, even in rural places, people are doing the quiet, thankless work of helping their neighbors. Find them and join them. And if there really is nothing happening near you, start online. Forums, Discord, Signal chats. These are places where you can meet people first, even if your eventual goal is to meet in real life and do tangible work where you live. A lot of serious relationships started with memes and chats. Now that said, be careful not to stay there. Some work can be done entirely online, for example, creating references and training materials. But other things like disaster relief, setting up a medic team for a demonstration, distributing aid to your homeless neighbors, these sorts of things can only be done in person. Wherever you go to find your people, here are some qualities that are important in anyone I organize beside. I think the qualities speak for themselves. These aren't all the things to look for when you're trying to decide who you'd like to work with. The particulars might be different depending on what sort of work you want to do, but this is a good starting point. And side note, this is also a good set of qualities to live up to yourself if you want to be a strong advocate for others. So now that you've identified a handful of people you'd like to organize with, how do you start the conversation? Okay, admittedly, this part can be awkward for some folks. You might be worried you'll come off as intense or weird, but think about yourself right now watching this video. A lot of people, especially the ones you want to organize with, are just waiting for someone to show them a way to help. One thing about humanity that gives me hope in dark times, unless someone has been brainwashed by hate, the base human reaction to seeing another human in need is to help them. We want to help each other. A few tips for how to start that first conversation. Keep it simple, specific, and honest. Something along the lines of, hey, I've been thinking about this problem. It sucks that no one's doing anything about it. We should get together soon to talk. Maybe do something small to help. What do you think? It's important that this first conversation is low pressure. You're not asking them to commit 20 hours a week to a new organization. You're not asking them to spearhead a statewide initiative. You're throwing out the possibility that, hey, maybe we can do something about this thing that keeps us up at night. So you've got a few people who care. You've had those first conversations. Now it's time to get everyone talking together. Start by making a group chat for the folks you had those initial talks with. Right now in 2025, the encrypted messaging app Signal is the standard, but use whatever works best for your needs. If you're watching in the future, then there may be newer, better options available. Name your chat. Use something that speaks to the issue bringing you together. Mutual aid brainstorm, disaster relief talk, immigrant neighbor support. This is a critical moment. Creating this group chat, adding the first people. If this does eventually turn into something, then this is the moment you'll look back to when you reminisce on how it all started. Let yourself feel energized and excited by it. After everyone is in, your next job is to decide on a time and place to meet in person. If there's only a few of you, you can probably do this informally. But if you manage to get, say, 5 or more people into this initial group, then you might want to use a tool to get everyone on the same page. For what it's worth, folks in the Black Flag Civilian Discord server have been using something called when2meet.com to help them decide on times for their working group meetings. They seem to like it. All right, the day has come. It's time for everybody to get together in the same room, or park, or coffee shop, whatever space is convenient and available to you. The first meeting doesn't have to be long, and it doesn't have to be overly structured. Give everyone a chance to introduce themselves, give a brief explanation of what brings them here, and then start brainstorming. The goal is to have an honest conversation about an issue you care about, and more importantly, what you might actually be able to do about it. This might be all you do at your first meeting, and if that's the case, great. But one important tip, make sure to walk away knowing what the next step is, even if that next step is simply to meet again in a week. You don't want people to leave wondering where to go from here. But if you do have more time at the first meeting, take your time brainstorming ideas. Narrow it down to a few focusable, actionable projects that can directly impact your local community in a positive way. Start talking logistics. Start talking skills. Talk about time and effort that you can realistically commit to any one of these projects. This honest conversation should help you come to a consensus on which project comes first. Broadly speaking, the best early projects are going to be small scale, specific, and local. Ideally, something you can pull off in a handful of weeks. Ask yourself, which idea feels exciting and doable for us right now? It might be as simple as handing out water at a local protest. It might be running a Skillshare or a food distro at a local park. It might be helping your houseless neighbors winterize their tents. Your circumstances will determine the right move for your team. Just make sure you keep it grounded in your local community's needs. And if you're still struggling to come up with ideas, I want to help you out. I made a list of 50 community building projects that you can accomplish with just 3 to 6 people. It will be linked in the video description below. Read through the list. See if anything jumps out. Feel free to adjust or combine ideas. This isn't gospel, it's just a jumping off point. This next part is when you turn ideas into action. Once your group decides on a first project, it's time to sit down and figure out exactly how you're going to go about it. If you think about everything at once, it's going to feel overwhelming. My recommendation, break it down into steps or stepping stones. Work backwards from a successful project. What needs to happen in what order? Write it down, make checklists, and most importantly, write down who is taking responsibility for each piece. And on that last point, you have to remember, this is not a job. No one is getting paid. You don't want people overcommitting and then burning out in a month or two. Instead, spread the work out between all members based on their skills and what their real, honest capacity is to lend a hand. Make sure that the culture of the space is one where people can admit when they're tired or when they need extra support. If your project is a one-time thing on a certain date, put all your stepping stones on a calendar. When do you need to print flyers? When do you need to pick up supplies? When do you need to contact local organizations or do outreach in the community? It doesn't all need to be perfect, but this will help you get things done in the order it needs to get done. And if your project is ongoing or open-ended, be sure to take time to debrief, reflect, and make constructive changes for the future. If you're planning a food distro, meet after the first one, talk successes and failures, and don't be afraid to recalibrate for the next one. At this point, I just want to say, it's okay if everything doesn't go exactly how you imagined. In fact, it will almost never go exactly like you imagined. That's fine. What matters is that you're willing to roll with the punches, learn from the challenges, and take that wisdom with you into your future organizing. And one final point. At this stage, you're doing the thing. This is it. You're putting your energy into helping your community. You're showing others that another way is possible. In a world that wants to see you powerless, you're proving that people working together to help their neighbors wield great power. And that brings us to step 6, celebrate. You did something real. Sure, it may have been small scale. Maybe you made a little free library. Maybe you gave a hot meal to someone in need. Maybe you escorted a vulnerable neighbor to their legal hearing. Whatever it was, you made a tangible difference in a person's life, and that is always worth doing. That's always worth celebrating. So meet up with your crew, grab a beer or a bite to eat, and acknowledge what you pulled off. These moments are important. It's a space where you build community and trust of your own in a place where it didn't exist before. And then, rest. I mean it, you do not need to jump right into the next thing. Give yourself and everyone else time to recover. Take a week, a month if you really need it. And then when you're ready, come back together. Maybe this time, invite a few more people. Hell, people might already be asking how they can get involved. Like I said earlier, people want to help others. So at this point, return to step 4. Meet up, hopefully with a few extra sets of hands, and talk about what you'll do next. Will it be the same sort of action or something different? That's for you to decide. Make a decision, plan it out, and then do it. That's the cycle. It works. But I should mention, there are some common traps that organizers can fall into, and that's what we're talking about next. The truth is, this stuff isn't always going to be easy. You're going to run into issues. You're going to make mistakes. But in an effort to reduce the number of those mistakes, I'm going to warn you about a handful of common ones. First trap, waiting for the right moment. There will never be a perfect time to start. You don't need a 5-year plan before you take your first steps. And if you wait until you feel ready, then those 5 years will pass and you'll still be waiting. Instead, start ASAP, but start small. The best time to begin was yesterday. The second best time is today. Second trap, taking on too much, too fast. Remember, you are not the Red Cross. You're just a few people who care. Don't try to solve every problem in your community, or even the biggest problem in your community, all at once. Pick one thing, do it well, and grow from there. You've got a lifetime to do this work. Don't risk burning yourself or other members of your group out by taking on a problem that's too large to tackle. Third trap, getting lost in the details. It's important to plan. Planning is good. But don't mistake planning for progress. If your group has had 5 meetings but no concrete actions, then you're not organizing. Get out there. It's okay if everything doesn't go perfect. Doing things imperfectly is better than not doing anything because, say, your group is arguing in circles over which app is best to use for communications. Fourth trap, one member takes over all the planning. Sometimes it helps to have a person with experience to get the ball rolling in a new group, but this voice should not stay the primary voice forever. A A healthy group shares responsibility and allows a wide variety of members to take on important duties. After the first couple months, the same person should not be facilitating week after week. The same person should not be leading every single project. Give new members opportunities to step up and become effective organizers in their own right. Fifth trap, letting setbacks stop you from moving forward. Here's the truth. Your project might flop. People might ghost. Some essential step of your project might fall through entirely. Maybe you did all the things right, but the project itself just didn't work. This doesn't mean you're cooked, it means you just started cooking. Every organizer worth their salt has war stories about some plan or another going sideways. When this happens to you, and it will eventually, lick your wounds, learn from what happened, and then get back to work. And finally, the sixth and most important trap to avoid. No space in your group for joy. Community building might take a lot of hard work, but it should also feel good a lot of the time. And even if you are working through a period of particularly painful but important work, you have to make space for joy. In my opinion, in terms of organizing, you should spend at least 1/3 of your time having fun and building bonds with your crew. One group that I'm organizing with right now, we have our serious meetings every 2 weeks. And on off weeks, we go on hikes, do picnics, range days, chat over coffee or drinks. It might sound indulgent, but it's not. It's how you keep fighting for a better world for more than just a few months. And at the risk of sounding ridiculous, there's a meme that I come back to again and again that helps keep me grounded when it feels like the world is crumbling. I'd like to read it to you. I live in constant fear of the Western descent toward fascism. But I digress. The club is bumping. The ladies look good. The alcohol is flowing. There's much pain in this world, but not in this room. Be sure to fill rooms with joy. For yourself, for your team, for all of your loved ones. And with that, let's wrap up. All right, you made it to the end. So let me say this as clearly as I can. You do not need to wait for permission. You do not need to wait for a nonprofit to greenlight your plan. You do not need to go viral or get funding or have a perfect logo. You just need to care about something and do something about it. The truth is, the world isn't going to be saved by a handful of charismatic heroes. It's going to be saved by thousands of ordinary people in thousands of neighborhoods, making moves, building relationships, and showing up for each other over and over again. If you're watching this and still wondering whether you can do this, let me be the one to tell you, yes, you can. You don't need to do it perfectly, you just need to start. And if you're looking for more resources, or just want to connect with others doing this kind of work, check out the links in the video description. I've included a few helpful starting points, like that list of 50 community building projects you can do with just a handful of people, and a link to the Black Flag Civilian Discord server, where members are already split into working groups, are scheduling trainings, and creating how-tos and 101 material around defense, self-sufficiency, and preparedness topics. If you're struggling to build community in your local region, maybe try joining us there. Now, go build something beautiful with your people. I'll see you out there. Until next time, take care of each other.